And the sad thing is, right now, it's not even a physical thing for me. I don't even really care about the weight.
Right.
It's more of a mental thing for me right now. I feel that I realize that I feel bad, and I realize I feel off.
Right. It's a sleep deprivation thing right now for you. That's the first thing that I would fix. 4 or 5, preferably 5 of the 7 nights. If you can average 6 hours those nights, it will make a major difference in how you feel up here. So you'll have more of a well-rested and a more of a reparation each night, and you're going to feel better and feel more like, yeah, I think I want to do something. The second thing that we want to do once we get the 6 hours a night in is I'd like you to begin either a walking program or a combination walk-jog program. But I don't want you to go for 2.5 hours like you normally do. I'd like to get it in and get it done with. Intensity is what you need right now. Short, quick, fast, boom, get it out of the way. And quite honestly, based on the schedule you're telling me, you need quick workouts.
So what do you say to everybody out there? Because the whole reason having you on today to talk about this situation is that I know there are thousands of people who are watching, probably 95% of the people watching tonight are saying, that's what I feel like. Mm-hmm. And people I have talked to say, that's exactly what I'm going through. So hopefully, besides this helping me, it's going to help a lot of people out there to understand where they're at. What about the people who will say, you know what, I don't even have that 20 minutes in my schedule. I'm a single parent. A conglomerate of reasons. I don't even have 20 minutes to get out for a walk. What would you say to that or them? I mean, where do you start?
Well, and that happens a lot when we game plan, when we sit down and we interview and we start the process of designing for them. First things first, you need to sit down and really tear the schedule apart. I mean, I'm not discounting anything when somebody says something, but I want to see their exact schedule. I want someone to be honest about what they're spending their time doing. If they're working 20 hours a day and they are at work, there's not a whole lot I can do. But we want to take a look at your schedule, Randy. I want to know what the kids are doing during the day and during the evening. I want to know what it is as a husband and as a parent, as a dad, that you have to do. And I want to break that down into a schedule. Then I want to look at your schedule and I want to find 20 minutes. I want to find a half hour. I want to find a half hour a day for you to be able, or 20 minutes a day, to be able to do something that can be intense and increase metabolism, and that can create more of a metabolic rush for you. The second thing I want to do is I want to find out how we can get 6 hours a night sleep, rest in. Okay? And so the first thing is to look at the schedule and be honest about the schedule, and then let's start picking out and finding out where we can. Then after that, then we can start plugging in.
So I think for everybody out there who's watching tonight, one, I think you've got to be honest with yourself. Do you really want to do this? Because that's where I fall into a trap of I want to do this. I want to be a certain way, but then I just don't follow through. I start it and then I stop it. I start it and I stop it. Never have I, for a long period of time, been able to stay on a consistent 1 or 2 or 3 year program. It'll be 2 months of walking and running in the subdivision, lifting weights at home, and then I get distracted and I just stop.
Or 14 pounds of bananas and 6 pounds of spinach.
Yes. And I'll gain 12 pounds and I'll lose 12 pounds. It's all over. I heard somebody talking the other day on a talk show about they really think that every certain person has a specific point that their body is relegated to, per se. No matter whether you gain weight or you lose weight, there's like a natural point of where you're going to rebound back to some point in your life. You think that's true? Is it not true?
I think that changes through the decades. Certainly past the age of 38 to 42, that changes quite a bit. We have to understand that males will, after the age of 40, generally speaking, and it can start as early as the mid-30s or earlier, will begin to lose testosterone. They begin to lose testosterone if they're not stimulating their muscle fiber. And when males lose that very important male sex hormone, they lose the ability to burn body fat normally, and they lose the ability to gain muscle tissue and to replace it and to repair and to build muscle. And so they actually put on more body fat and lose more muscle. So their shapes change, and their ability to get back in shape becomes much more difficult. It becomes a very tough situation for them. So that rebound point changes quite a bit at each age level. At the age of 50, it gets very difficult. And by the time a male is in his 60s, the male usually looks very, very different than what he looked like when he was 27, 28 years of age.
Now, you can take a pill to get more iron, more vitamin C, more... Is there something for testosterone?
Testosterone supplements. If you listen on late night TV, everyone will be more than happy to send you a bottle of their testosterone pills with all the claims that it will improve your sex life, it will restore a man's libido, it will reduce body fat, you'll gain all this muscle, and you'll be the man you were when you were 18 years old. That's simply not true, and taking it out of a pill will not do it. Now, you can take testosterone and you can replace those testosterone levels naturally and normally that you've lost, but that's a tricky thing, and you need to really research that and go through the right kind of physicians for that type of thing and make some decisions that's a direction you want to go. But you can't take a pill, a supplement of testosterone, and hope that that's going to work. Don't guarantee. That just doesn't work. Now, what those are testosterone boosters. They have certain supplemental things in those pills which they claim through anecdotal evidence that will stimulate a man to produce more testosterone. Whether that works or not, your guess is as good as mine.
Overall, as we head into the holiday season, we talk about this when you're on the show, your words of advice to the people who are going to pack on the extra pounds. I think everybody does. You've got Thanksgiving, you've got the holiday season, you've got all these places we're going to have parties at work, parties at home.
Every year.
The temptation is all there. How do you absorb all that and make the right decisions when it's just all there in front of you for the taking?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. And certainly it plays havoc with people's lives and their minds every single holiday season, and for some folks, for their entire lives, especially when we've been conditioned from the time we're little kids that it's a joyous time. It's a time when grandma makes cookies and you eat those wonderful cookies. There's all kinds of fun items to eat that taste good, that have comfort food like sugar, salt, and fat. There's all kinds of eggnog, which is rich and creamy and tastes good going down. There's liquid stimulants. There's all kinds of things that we can eat. It's difficult to take all of that and just say, oh, wait a minute, I can't partake in. The best thing I can say is the thing that people, not just me, but people like me throughout the country for years have been saying, we have to look at being moderate. I would never tell anybody, hey, just don't do it, because it's unrealistic. It's the holiday season, and most people, unless they're really into their bodies and they don't want to gain a pound of body fat and they're watching everything that they eat, they're going to have something. They're going to eat some things. They're going to go to 2 parties a week. What I'm going to say is the best recourse for everyone is just to try to be moderate. Don't tell yourself you can't. Tell yourself you're going to partake in a couple of things, but limit them. Don't let yourself go hog wild to the point where, Randy, you have put in nothing but sugar, salt, and fat and items that you know are non-nutritious, and you've put it in to such great extent that it's just going to kill you the next day and continue to add throughout the next 6 weeks of the holiday season.
All right, time always flies when you're on the show.
Are we up already?
We're close. We're 5 minutes away. But what I do want to touch on is when we're young in school, you have PE class, you have soccer, you have baseball, you're doing stuff. As you grow older, you start your job, you start working. No matter what job you do, as long, I think, as you think of yourself as almost an athlete within your field, an athlete in the field of being an electrician or being a home builder, whatever, and treat your body like you're an athlete, you can be on the right track. You can stay physically fit and not be injured in your job for a long time.
Great attitude. I love it. And if we could get more folks to think in that term, that eating is their business as well as its pleasure, and that they're eating for sustenance, they're eating for their energy, they're eating for their brain power, and they're eating so that they can be great young parents with plenty of liveliness and vibrancy to guide their kids, we're going to do just great. One of the things I want to do when I come back, we need to do this, I want to follow up on where we started with this season that's starting to be the winter season and the cold season, and I want to talk about the next time what happens in seasonal disorders when it gets dark outside earlier, when we lose daylight savings time, and what happens to people who get up dark and early and they come home dark and early. What happens to them and how can they overcome that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right. As we wrap things up here today, till you come back again, your advice to everybody out there about sun's going to start going down a little bit early, you get off work, and you do come home and it's dark.
Sure.
You don't feel like exercising.
Sure.
Get up early.
Well, you can get up early if you can do that. You've got to pick 20 minutes 3 or 4 days a week and get some type of moving and breathing in. It's vital. We're talking an hour a week at the bare minimum. 3 times a week, 20 minutes a time, and get some type of moving and breathing. I don't care if you're walking up your steps to your second floor and walking back down 15 times and you increase it a flight or 2 each week, but do something like that. The second thing I'm going to say is start moving away from that TV set, because we know that too much sitting and watching TV
Well,
is
except
tough.
if you're watching this channel.
Well, that's true. If it's this channel and it's you, that's a whole different story because you're stimulating. But watching Randy's like moving and breathing. But otherwise,
It's like putting on weight, right?
Right. Let's be moderate in our approach to TV because that really brings us down. And then lastly, let's be moderate in our approach to food, especially during the holiday season.
What about alcohol consumption, especially this time of the year with the parties and all that kind of stuff? Is that a big weight booster?
Very much so, because it's empty calories. And you can always remember you can drink more than you can eat. And alcohol converts to sugar, and that converts to fat. So you can pour in tons, especially those fruity drinks, okay? I don't know if you're a fruity drink kind of guy or you're a straight alcohol kind of guy, but either way, when you put that in your system, there are a lot of empty calories. And so again, that moderation or even backing off just a bit is probably the wisest recourse for some people, or for most people.
So besides gaining weight, just another good reason not to drink during the holiday season. And of course,
and it's
if
dangerous.
you drink, I was going to say, please be careful. Do not drink and drive. Advocate of that to the solid end. Please do not get in the car after you've even had one drink.
Right.
Coach, appreciate your time here on the show. It always flies by.
Yeah, it was really
We'll
fun.
have you on as we get closer to the holiday season. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us tonight here on News 20 on GTN. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same place. Have a good one.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life.